What happens when a wedding turns into a manhunt? We're reviewing Ready or Not ahead of the sequel dropping this weekend, and we're getting into the comedy horror balance, whether the twist at the end works, and if Grace is actually one of the best final girls in modern horror. So pull up a seat, let's talk movies. Overall, what did you think of this movie? Mike, let's start with you.
Overall, I thought this was a pretty decent movie. It's got some weaknesses, got some strengths.
Yeah, I'll have to chime in
Uh,
on that and just agree with that. I thought that was a pretty solid one, not too crazy, but also to me wasn't bad. It did lack a little bit in the pacing stuff. I feel like it dragged at a couple different points, but I mean overall, I did really enjoy this.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. It's not something that is spectacular, but it's very fun. I thought it was a very fun movie, and done pretty well for the genre that it is.
And the
I
and the
was
budget.
I was what was the budget?
$6 million.
Solid.
It was only 6 million.
Yeah, 6 million.
Wow, that's actually impressive for some of the stuff that happens in the movie. That's
Yeah, once I read
I
the,
dig
the
it.
budget, I was like, okay, I think I give it a little more respect than I did at first.
A
Surprising.
lot more respect. That's
Dang.
awesome. That's really cool. A lot of time with these types of movies, they will lean too heavy either way. Sometimes they could come off scarier than they're supposed to. Sometimes the comedy's a little too much. Tyler, what did you think about the balance of the two in this movie?
I thought it was a perfect mixture of both. I didn't think they tried too hard on the comedy side. I did enjoy some of the horror stuff aspect of it. I did like the goriness of it. I thought it was perfect. I didn't think it was too much, but also not enough. But the comedy stuff, I did laugh a couple times out loud, and I think that's what it wanted me to do. But I thought it was just a good mixture of both.
I thought it was pretty good in the middle. The only issue I have, I wish they would have pushed the horror more and pushed the comedy a little bit more. So like it had a good balance of both. I think they just need to make the volumes louder on both ends. The comedy,
Kinda
like
a bit,
this,
yeah.
the comedy was there. I just wish it was set up a little bit better. I don't know. Some of the stuff didn't hit. And the horror, I feel like they just needed a little bit more in there.
Yeah, I thought they actually, in my opinion, they lacked in the horror department. Not that this type of movie was supposed to be like super scary, but I think there was elements and opportunities for them to really turn it up, turn the suspense up. There were moments, but I feel like there wasn't enough. The comedy, I thought actually, and this might be like a taste thing. For me, I felt it was enough. It was a lot of organic laughs. It felt like to me. Some were forced, obviously. You could tell when they were setting them up. But the acting in it, Adam Brody is really good at it, at being like a nonchalant, like funny guy, which it worked. And
Yes.
all the characters kind of did that. Some were a little over the top, and then the one brother-in-law.
Bitch, the fatter one.
Yeah, I know what they were trying to do with him, that type of character. I just don't think they in that. I don't know if it's a performance thing or just writing, but I feel like they didn't do what they fully what they intended with his character. Some funny parts, some funny things I did chuckle at with him, but I feel like he was the weakest out of the two. But as far as the comedy and horror goes, I feel like the comedy for me was just enough. The horror I wanted a little more
Yeah.
juice to it. In general, story, directing, script, acting. Mike, let's start with you.
I like, they did the classic setup where we get one scene that teases what has happened, like the past scene of the hunting in the house and stuff like that. And then we go to nowadays, we have the setup. We get introduced to all the characters. They do a pretty good job of giving us Grace and Alex's story and a little bit of Daniel in there. And then, it slowly builds and builds and builds. And they have the music that builds. And then you finally get to the game. So we're discovering it as she's discovering it. And then once the action starts, you have a little bit of pacing issues, I guess. Like once the hunt starts, because it kind of gets repetitive. Like catch her, she gets out, catch her, she gets out, catch her, she gets out.
Yeah, I feel like the repetitiveness of it. I felt like they added elements to each phase, I'll call them, when she got caught, to up the ante a little more. It wasn't just flat, like nothing. They kept adding things to it, whether it was her injuries or the threat was more menacing, or the time when, which I really liked Adam Brody's character. I think he
Yes.
might be my favorite.
He
character
is my
in
favorite.
the whole movie. I love what they did with him because you didn't really know where he was at mentally. I really enjoyed learning who he was throughout the film. But they kind of give you a glimpse of it in the beginning though, when he protects his brother from what you thought was someone chasing them, and then it turns out he didn't want his brother to see this. He's always been protective of his brother, and that carried on throughout the whole film. And every time that you see him with Grace, you're not really sure where he's going, but his character growth was the best in my opinion in this movie.
Yeah, he's like the main character in my opinion. I enjoyed my favorite parts were his interactions with Grace, and to a lesser form his interactions with his brother. But when it's just like he comes in, he has a weapon, he can kill her, and he's just like, I just want to drink. I'll give you like a 10-second head start before I tell him. Like I just like those because he kept changing and changing and changing, and I knew where he was gonna land on this. To me it wasn't any big surprise, but like Adam Brody's like the way he acted it was just perfect for this movie.
Yeah, that's definitely a popular opinion out there. I remember reading some like Letterboxd reviews, and everybody was just praising Adam Brody because these are like the type of roles that he does, and everybody loves him for it. But besides, Grace being the main character, Adam was really nice in it. But I will say one thing is just my mind was just trying to think of this twist. There's always going to be some type of twist in this. What I initially thought was at the beginning of the scene, where Daniel and Alex, right? That's he was trying to hide him in the closet. I initially thought, because I assumed they were playing hide and seek at that scene, that Alex was actually a kid to a newly either husband or wife at that point. So I thought maybe Alex wasn't even part of the family, and when some certain people died, then he could just be free and stuff like that. But obviously that's not where they went. But I just was confused why they were showing us that flashback, so I was just looking way too much into it. But it was just
that's the beauty of it too. You hit it there. Is this movie allows you to kind of turn your brain off. You don't have to think too hard with this one. It portrays it, but it also gives you enough satisfaction with the twists that they have in it. But it's not pretending to be something that it's not. It is what it is, and it's a really fun ride. I really enjoy that aspect of it because sometimes you just want to do that with horror movies. You don't want to have to think too hard or like a who done it. Like sometimes you just want to turn it on and sit back and enjoy the show. Let's talk more about Grace herself, because obviously she is the perspective we're seeing this all through. How do you think she did, acting wise, the story itself, all of it? Mike, what did you think about her?
What's her name? Samara Weaving.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed her in this movie. I enjoy her in these smaller movies where she gets to be the lead. Like what's the movie, Babysitter?
Babysitter was really good.
Yeah, she was amazing in that. So I love these like smaller budget movies that she's starring in, and I thought she was perfect. She never seemed like too girly or too like just poor me. And as the movie goes on, we see her strength build and build and build. Like we never, yeah. I thought it was just done like to a perfect level where it was believable. Like everything she did in the movie, partially because she's a strong character, and partially because all the other characters are weak. Like it's believable how she portrayed it, and for the story wise, I think it makes sense.
I honestly thought that she was probably one of the like most like. Obviously, we're getting another movie, so there obviously is going to be something else. But I think she was a really good final girl. I mean, it's something really small, but she has an incredible scream. I think I've heard it like 3 times, and I heard 3 different frequencies each time. So it was really confusing me there. And it's like, oh my God, how can she even do that? But I don't know. She just gives off the aura of a final girl. She ran into a couple obstacles on the way. She got hurt on the way, but at the end of the day, she was like really badass in this, and I dug it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it was almost like her scream escalated as the story went on, especially at the end when they're about to stab her, and she gets out of it, and she lets out this like guttural, like animalistic sound. I'm like, what in the hell? Where did that come from?
I know.
But yeah, very, very talented. And you're right. She is one of the more entertaining final girls, just based off of where she started and where she ended. Her growth was really cool. She did a really good job staying grounded, not too over the top with the performance. She felt like us, like a person that would have been caught up in that. Like
Yeah.
she's sitting in the dumbwaiter, just like, what am I doing? Like this is completely on my wedding night. I'm playing hide and seek. That's
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
I also really like when she's like
just
laughing at the end of the movie.
Yes, like that
Like when
last
when the
scene.
families, when that's happening in the family,
Yes.
she's just like,
This is
like,
great.
It was great. Yeah.
That little kid, dude. And when she got shot in the hand, I'm like, I would punch the.
Oh my
shit
God,
out
I
of her.
love that.
Of course, that's what she does.
I love that scene. Her reactions to things that happen in the movie make it, like you said, feel real. Like
Yes.
she's a real person. Like
Yep.
the punch to the kid when the car passes her and she's like, "F you!" Like you'd pick me like.
And honestly, just like a little scene that you just said, that is when she's like loading the shotgun for the first time, and she like cracks it open, and then the waiter, the butler guy's there, and then you could just see her like in shock, like that was kind of loud, and it's like, oh my God, I felt that.
Yeah, it's really good. Those little elements that they add, and on top of her performance, really enjoyed that. Yeah, she's a great final girl, and not to get too much into the second one. I'm excited to see the threat grow, because what we see in the trailer, these guys are professionals. She's not dealing with the clown show that she just dealt with. So anyone else that kind of stood out to you guys?
Well, we already talked about Adam Brody, so obviously he's the real standout. I like the dad quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not too much to say about him, but the aunt, without even saying too much in that movie, she actually seemed pretty scary.
Yeah, like even when they got married, and then she's just sitting there and just like with an evil grin and just staring at them. It's like, okay, I don't want to mess with her.
Yeah, so like with very few words, she did quite a bit. So
Yeah, she was scary. When they are in the bedroom, right after they got married, and then she's just watching them.
Yeah,
Like, that's not a good hiding spot.
yeah.
Like, yeah, no shit.
well, she's
You're
had that
trying
like
to hide.
axe or whatever. It just fit her. I was like, that's awesome.
Well, I was gonna say, then like
Yeah.
her one and only like shining part is when she like has the axe and screams out loud and then chases her, and then over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's still gonna die.
Yeah.
it's so good. I also like the running gag with the waitresses, or not the waitresses, the maids.
Yeah, the
with,
maids.
the complete liability that is their daughter. I don't know why they gave her weapons of any kind. They should have given her like blunt objects. But she kills the one, shoots her in the head, and then the other one accidentally
With an arrow.
with the bow.
I will say the kill that didn't make any sense was the dumbwaiter scene, where she like dies.
yeah.
Like she's like, you just press the button. You're acting
Oh.
stupid. You're not going back in it. Like, I was just like, I hate that scene. Like, you could still use that as your kill, but just make it make sense.
I also kind of wish that she was killing off the family members, at least some of them, a little earlier. But then when you get to the end, the payoff is really good.
Yeah, I
Very
think the
satisfying.
payoff
So-
works. So we
Yeah.
see the battles and we see some of the violence and with not too many deaths or whatever, and then the payoff works.
yeah, it goes from like not terribly gory to just like straight
Blood all over the walls.
Terrifier level. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
over her too. Just that imagery of her and her.
Well, let me
dress
say a
just
side note. When
completely
you
soaked.
brought up Terrifier, my main issue with Terrifier 3 is the violence against kids, because
I was gonna bring this up to you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll say it right now. This is how you can do it properly and not make me
Yes.
mad. You have the two
Yes.
young boys, and they go all off to the side, and then we hear and see the explosion of like the blood and stuff like that, and it's done in a comedic way, and we don't see their bodies and stuff. This is how you do it properly without making me mad.
It was very respectfully done, for sure.
Yeah, if you're gonna do this in a movie, that's how to do it. Also, take notes, Carpenter's son. Jeez. Worst scene I've ever seen in my life.
It's still. I don't think anything's gonna top that. To be honest with you, 'cause
I don't think
it
so.
still sticks with me. Let's talk about the twists a little bit, because there is a twist in this, and the running thing throughout this whole movie is this elitist family, and they play this game because their great grandfather made a deal with the devil. I'm assuming it doesn't say the devil, but obviously it.
Yeah.
it
Well, by the
definitely
end,
feels-
they're chanting to Satan.
they're pretty
so-
much, yeah, hail Satan and all that. So they play these games when anyone new enters the family, and if that person pulls the hide and seek card, they are to kill them. And then the running thing is this true? Is if they don't complete this sacrifice, are they all going to die like they said? So that's kind of the question, that's the big question mark throughout the whole thing. Uh, what did you guys think of how they handled the twist? Obviously, it's not groundbreaking. It's not like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Like, it was a false twist with the twists. Like, I personally liked how they approached it. But like, Mike, what did you think about it?
To me, it almost wasn't really a twist because I was just watching the movie, like knowing that's what, like I just knew it was gonna be true. So like I don't know, I think most of us could kind of figure out that it's not really a twist. That's just how it is.
A twist doesn't necessarily have to fool you. It's just kind of the plot device of, hey, we have this thing. You're not sure if it's going to happen or not. Well, the people in the movie aren't sure. But I liked, although we might have thought like it was going to happen, like they were going to die at the end, sure. I liked the hesitation. The sun
Yeah.
rose. They were able to have a cool, funny payoff with like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. It's not, we were wrong. And then the explosion to start happening. I liked how they executed it instead of it just being sun's up and everyone just starts popping. They let it breathe at the end there, which I appreciate.
That twist worked. They did it really well. The way it was set up and paid off was perfect. The other twist didn't really work for me, which was Alex turning. That one failed.
I liked the exploding thing. I thought it was kind of cool, but just like the small little thing, like besides the exploding thing that I did like, was when like the house is burning down, and then the aunt always mentioned that like Grandpa's spirit is always here. Yeah. And then when the house is burning, you can kind of like see the ghost of him sitting in the chair. And I thought this was like very small, but also just like really cool that they
like gave her
that
like a head nod too, didn't he? Like
I don't remember, but
I think there was like a little nod, like yeah.
He does.
That was cool. Yeah.
And then she goes like she's just like, huh, no shit. Yeah, I digged it. I was gonna ask about the Alex thing. Obviously, the painting was on the walls, or the writing was on the walls with that one, because the aunt alluded to it, already primed it for us that he was going to eventually make the right choice in their mind. But I thought, and this is the second time watching it, my thought was that he lost his brother, and I think his brother was the only thing really holding his sanity together. And not just that he lost his brother, he thinks that she killed him, because no one said anything. Like his brother died without telling him who shot him. She knocked out the wife, and then she kills the mom. In mid killing, he walks in on her killing his mom. So in his mind, he's like, you killed my mom and you killed my best friend, my brother. Yeah. Now I've made my decision. Do you think that is what the catalyst was, or do you think?
Yeah, the moment he walks in and he sees her killing like his mom or whatever, it makes sense. But at the same time, I still don't like how he was at the beginning of this movie, doing anything to protect her and save her, and everything. I don't believe the turn. I don't believe that the way they had Alex at the beginning, that he would have turned at the end, even when he was like, you're not gonna stay with me, are you? And she's like, no. Like
even before they got married, he was like, this is your last chance to run away if you want. Like he kept giving her, to help her get out of this. The twist of him turning was cool, but it wasn't like the biggest surprise to me, and wasn't really like believable a little bit.
Oh, the mom told you he was going to.
But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought the motivation worked. I don't think it was it wasn't like too crazy to not believe, but I can kind of see where it might have been too quick of a thing, like boom boom, now I'm turned. If they would have planted more seeds throughout, a little more friction between the two, and with the little time that they had with each other, but I felt like the escalation was there. We learned how important his brother was to him, and the mom too, but I honestly think it was more the brother than anything. Like in his mind, you took away the one thing that was really holding me together, and that was my brother. So I'm going to kill you now, type of thing, which I think it can work. To me though, it was his begging at the end that kind of turned me off.
Yeah.
Because then he turned into the character, like the dick character that didn't have any feelings for her at all, like this guy that was just playing her this whole time. Like that's not who he was. That's what I didn't like. I didn't like how he acted at the end. And I get it was for like comedic value, like to show how she just doesn't care and she's laughing in his face, and then he explodes. I don't think that was earned.
It
That
didn't.
that kind of caricature turn.
Yeah, it didn't fit the good version of Alex, and it didn't fit the bad version of Alex. So I
Right.
don't know
It
where
was a
that one.
different Alex.
I mean, it fit. There was the one. I don't remember. Was it the sister-in-law character that married into the Daniel's wife, who was like, "I want to go home" or whatever.
Yeah, something
Like
like
she
that.
says lines like that before she blows up, and like that
Mhm.
works for that character. Like where she's
Yep.
just trying to, mentally. I just no, I don't want this anymore. It's too late though. But for the Alex character, no, it doesn't fit.
I think if they would have done like a more like yeah, he's scared. He doesn't want to die, but also he kind of maybe accepts it a little. But it's like I was supposed to be the good one. I was the good one, and then he blows up. I feel like we should have felt more remorse for him a little bit.
Yeah.
I know he turned, but like you said, we had 3 different Alexes in this. The last Alex did not match the good one or the bad one. It was just this weird Alex.
Like what
for
you
this
just
year.
said, where you said like, if he would have just like after everyone blew up, if he just sat down on the couch and just like I was the good one and like said something like that, because his dad makes it clear that he's his favorite. The mom literally tells him you're the good son or whatever. So it's clear he is the one who tried to escape. So if you just give him that moment, it gives you not like forgiveness but understanding of the character.
That makes
Yes,
sense.
yep.
Yeah.
And then she could even still give the ring to him, like put it in his hand or whatever,
Yeah.
because she's done. Obviously, she
you're
doesn't
still-
care how he feels. And then you could still have the scene, just have him act differently. And if they would have done that whole ending would have been perfect in my opinion. But and then what about the final shot? What did you guys think about that? Just ending it with her on the steps, pulling out a cigarette. How we met her smoking in his bedroom,
In-law.
and the cops come in. What did you guys think of that? The final shot.
Badass.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Just to see her and just blood everywhere, smoking the cigarette. She don't care. She's totally changed now. But I'd always have this idea in my head. How do you explain this to the police?
Yeah,
There is no survivors. There's a bunch of dead bodies. Well, they're probably burning now, and you're covered in blood.
Yeah.
How do you explain yourself out of that situation?
Not only that, but it's a rich family that just got murdered,
Right.
so they're gonna assume you are guilty of whatever.
I mean, if they contact
Yes.
the car company, at least that person can let them know that she tried to call the cops and that people were crazy and stuff like that.
I don't remember his name. He'll just be like,
Justin,
she
or,
stole
Justin
the car.
or something.
Let's see. I found this movie enjoyable. I would like to see almost not a prequel necessarily, but I would like to see maybe one movie revisit some of the past stuff, like when the deal was done, as we go along. It's hard to figure out how they're gonna do a sequel. I haven't seen the trailer yet, so I don't know. So in my head, I'm mentally hard. Oh,
Well,
God.
pause.
Pause. Hold
Mike,
on.
what do you mean by that?
In my head, I'm mentally struggling to see what they're gonna do. But I like this movie. I like the character development. Yeah, I would give it a solid out of 10, maybe like a 6.
Yeah, like I said, going into this, I had no idea what I was going into. I knew that a lot of people liked this movie. I knew that it was like a fun action comedy horror movie. After watching it, I just thought it was a solid movie. I thought they did a good mixture of comedy and horror in this. I think Samira Weaving maybe is one of the best final girls that I've seen in a while. I thought this was just a solid movie. I'm gonna do a 7 out of 10 on this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I had a lot. At the end of the day, I just had a lot of fun with this one. Like I said before, I could just turn my mind off. Didn't have to think too much. Just watch and enjoy the show, which I really appreciate. The one thing that I do worry about for the sequel is how far are we cranking it up? Because I still, what was appealing to this one is still kind of grounded within what was happening. I don't want it to go too off the rails, especially I'm assuming they probably had a bigger budget for the second one, and sometimes, as we know, the money can almost make you feel like you need to spend it in places that you don't need to spend it. So I'm hoping that they kind of stay with the grounded formula and just amp it up a little bit. But all in all, this one, I loved it. I loved the blend of comedy and horror. The concept itself, I don't think would have worked as a true horror. It might have, but it was kind of silly. So I think it had to be in this genre. Really enjoyed it. The acting was superb. The character growth was spot on. And yeah, she's a certified badass. So I'm excited to see where they go with this concept. And to speak on what you said, Mike, the prequel thing, I think it would be kind of cool to go back to when the great grandfather got the box. Like, what happened there? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think it was as simple as just making this one deal and then we're out. I want to kind of see that, and then maybe even that itself could lean more into horror and a little less on the comedy. I could see that work as well. But I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's a very solid film.
Did you guys see who directed this, by the way?
Yes,
No.
and I don't remember.
What other movies they directed?
Are you
All right, so-
trying to quiz me?
No, it's not a quiz.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your last names, but it's by these two guys named Matt and Tyler. They like co-directed it, but they're the ones who directed Scream 5,
Yep, that's right.
Scream 6, and Abigail. I really like.
Hey, this all
Yeah, though that's a solid lineup of horror movies. So in my opinion, these guys are
that's-
right up there with
And they're
others.
doing the second one too, or
I don't know.
Okay.
I dig that because Abigail, I kind of messed with.
I love
Some
Abigail.
people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed that movie. And that's funny that you said that because I was watching Ready or Not the second time through, and it's like the vibes felt like Abigail, and this is why, because it was directed by the same people. That's really cool.
So I'm very interested
little
in
fun
seeing what other movies they make.
Yeah, no, they're really good at blending the comedy with the horror, and what a task to tackle Scream 5 and do it so well. That's wild.
Yeah, 5 and 6, and
Solid.
those they had solid final girls as well. So
Yeah,
they know
it's
how to
true.
develop that.
Before we end this, though, I do want to chime in with a Letterboxd review that I saw. This is it's a 4.5 review, and it says, "The family in this and the one in Get Out probably go golfing together." Because I can definitely see that type of feel between the families, and I just thought that was funny.
Well, that was our review on Ready or Not. Let us know what you guys think, if you agree with us or don't. And then we will be covering Ready or Not 2 at some point. Not sure when, but make sure you guys check that out. We'll see you in the next one.